Alex Morgan wiped sweat from his brow as he trudged through the dense alien foliage of Nova 6. The twin suns beat down mercilessly, their orange glow filtering through the canopy above. As the expedition's lead xenobiologist, he had ventured further than the others, driven by curiosity and the thrill of discovery. Base camp, this is Morgan. I'm about 2 clicks east of our landing site. Found some interesting flora specimens, he reported into his comm unit. Copy that, Alex. Just don't forget we extract in 3 hours, replied Olivia Hayes, the security chief whose perpetual frown had become a fixture at mission briefings. Alex continued his survey, carefully documenting the unusual plant life with his scanner. That's when he heard it. A low, pained sound unlike anything he'd encountered before. It wasn't mechanical, nor was it similar to any of the documented species on Nova 6. Following the noise, Alex pushed through a thick cluster of phosphorescent vines. In a small clearing, he froze. There, sprawled among broken vegetation, lay a creature that sent ice through his veins. Even injured, the Caraxi was terrifying. Nearly 3 meters long, with midnight blue scales that shimmered with an almost metallic quality. Its 6 limbs ended in curved talons, and a ridge of spines ran down its back. But what struck Alex most were its eyes. Large, multifaceted, and unmistakably intelligent. Every space traveler knew about the Caraxi. They were the nightmare stories told to new recruits. Apex predators responsible for decimating 3 colonial outposts in the last decade alone. The official protocol was clear: report and evacuate. Under no circumstances engage. Yet this one wasn't attacking. A deep gash ran along its side, exposing flesh that pulsed with an eerie blue luminescence. The creature was dying. Against every instinct for self-preservation, Alex activated his comm. Base camp, I need a medical extraction team at my coordinates. Now, what's the situation? Olivia's voice crackled through. I found an injured sentient. Severe lacerations, possible internal damage. A pause. Species identification. Alex hesitated. It's a Caraxi. The comm erupted with voices. Commander Frank Dawson's authoritative tone cut through the chaos. Morgan, did you say Caraxi? Evacuate immediately. That's an order. Sir, it's injured. Badly. It's not aggressive. They're never not aggressive, Morgan. They're killing machines. Now get out of there. But Alex couldn't move. The creature's eyes tracked him, and he saw something no human report had ever mentioned. Fear. I can help you, Alex said softly, not expecting the creature to understand. To his shock, the Caraxi made a sound, not a growl, but a series of clicks and tones that seemed deliberate. It extended one clawed limb, not in attack, but in a gesture that seemed almost pleading. Making his decision, Alex opened his med kit. I'm coming closer. I'm going to help you. Morgan, what are you doing? Olivia's voice was sharp with panic. My job, he replied simply. Studying and understanding alien life. He muted his comm and approached the creature slowly. The Caraxi tensed as Alex knelt beside it, but didn't strike. Up close, its injuries looked even worse. Something had tried to tear it apart. Using his basic medical training, Alex applied a coagulant spray to the worst of the wounds. The creature made that strange clicking sound again, its multifaceted eyes fixed on him. You can call me Alex, he said, working carefully. I think I'll call you Saren. As the medical team finally arrived, weapons drawn and faces pale with fear, Alex stood protectively beside his patient. Back at the research station, warnings blared about Caraxi ship movements in nearby systems, but Alex barely heard them. He was watching Saren, who was watching him with what could only be described as curiosity. Against all known science, against all military protocol, and against the terrified objections of his colleagues, Alex Morgan had just befriended the galaxy's most lethal predator. Alex spent 3 days converting an unused storage bay into a habitat for Saren. He installed heat lamps to match the creature's preferred climate and reinforced the walls with steel plating, more to keep others out than to keep Saren in. "This is absolute madness," Commander Dawson said, watching through the observation window as Alex replaced Saren's bandages. The commander's face had settled into permanent lines of worry. "That thing has killed more colonists than any other species we've encountered." "He's not a thing," Alex replied calmly, "and he hasn't tried to harm anyone. Yet," Olivia added from her post by the door, hand resting on her weapon. Alex ignored them both and continued his work. Saren's wounds were healing remarkably fast. The creature made a series of clicking sounds followed by a low humming. "I think he's trying to communicate," Alex said. "Or planning which parts of you to eat first," Olivia muttered. Later that evening, as the station's lights dimmed for night cycle, Alex returned to the habitat. He brought a neural translator, an experimental device designed to interpret alien brainwave patterns. "This might feel strange," he told Saren, showing the device before approaching. To his surprise, the Caraxi lowered its head, allowing Alex to place the sensors along its neural ridge. The translator hummed to life. At first, there was nothing but static. Then fragmented words appeared on the screen. "Danger. Not me. Inside." Alex adjusted the settings. "Can you understand me?" More clicks and hums. Then, "Yes. Help. My kind. Controlled." Controlled. By what? Before Saren could respond, the habitat door slid open. Captain Lisa Rodriguez of the military vessel UES Horizon strode in, flanked by armed guards. "Dr. Morgan," she said, her voice crisp, "we've been sent to collect this specimen for study at Central Command." Alex moved to stand between them and Saren. "This isn't a specimen. He's sentient and trying to communicate vital information." "Step aside, Doctor. That's an order. He's trying to tell us something important. His species is being controlled somehow." Rodriguez's expression hardened. "The Caraxi have destroyed 3 colonies. They're not victims. They're predators. Now move." The guards raised their weapons. Behind Alex, Saren rose to his full height, spines extending. A deep rumble vibrated through the room. "Everyone stay calm," Alex said, heart racing. "Saren, please." To everyone's shock, the Caraxi settled back down, though its eyes remained fixed on the weapons. 48 hours, Alex pleaded. "Give me that long to prove what I'm saying." Rodriguez hesitated, then nodded curtly. 2 days. Then it comes with us." After they left, Alex turned back to Saren. "What did you mean about being controlled?" The translator flickered with new words. "Parasites. In brain. Make us hunt. Kill. Not choice." Alex worked through the night with Science Officer Daniel Wright, analyzing tissue samples from Saren. By morning, they had their answer: microscopic organisms living in the Caraxi neural tissue, manipulating behavior through chemical signals. "It's like a form of mind control," Daniel said, staring at the screen in amazement. "These parasites override their natural instincts." "We have to tell Rodriguez," Alex said. When they presented their findings, however, the captain remained unmoved. "Even if this is true, it doesn't change our orders. The Caraxi remains a threat." That night, as Alex checked on Saren, the creature pressed one taloned limb against the glass separating them. The translator displayed a single message: "Others coming. Save my people. Please." Outside the station, alarms began to sound. Multiple Caraxi ships had just entered the system, and they weren't responding to communications. Time was running out. Red emergency lights flashed throughout Helios 7 as the station's AI announced, "Multiple unidentified vessels approaching. All personnel to battle stations." Alex ran to Saren's habitat, finding the Caraxi agitated, pacing the reinforced enclosure. "They're here," Alex said, breathless. "Your people?" The neural translator flickered. "Not my people. Empty shells. Walking parasites." Daniel burst into the room. tablet in hand. I've been analyzing those neural scans. These parasites originated in the Cygnus system. They're not native to the Caraxi. They're invaders. Alex turned to Saren. Your species was peaceful before the parasites. Yes. Builders. Scholars. Then came the mindless hunger. Our ships turned to weapons. Many died fighting control. The door slid open again as Captain Rodriguez entered with Commander Dawson. Her face was rigid with tension. 5 Caraxi warships will reach us in 4 hours. A military transport is on its way to collect your friend and evacuate essential personnel. Captain, please, Alex said. The scans prove Saren's telling the truth. This could change everything we know about the Caraxi. If we could develop a way to remove these parasites and risk more human lives on a theory. Rodriguez cut in. Central Command wants this specimen for weapons research. The rest isn't our concern. Weapons research. Alex echoed. You want to study how to create more killers. Dawson shifted uncomfortably. Morgan, be reasonable. If these parasites can control the Caraxi, imagine what would happen if they infected humans. We need to understand them to defend ourselves. Or we could cure them, Daniel suggested quietly. Help the Caraxi fight back. Rodriguez's laugh was cold. And why would we do that? The Caraxi have better ships, advanced technology, everything they built before becoming ravaging beasts. If they returned to their senses, they'd be the dominant species in this sector. The room fell silent as her words sank in. It wasn't fear driving these decisions. It was preservation of human dominance. Saren made a low keening sound. The translator displayed. My world, dying. Elders hide in deep caves. Last free ones. Have cure knowledge but not method. Alex looked at the magnificent creature, then at his fellow humans. The choice seemed clear, but the consequences were enormous. Captain, he said slowly, what if helping Saren means creating an ally stronger than any weapon? That's not your decision to make, Doctor. An alarm blared, and Olivia's voice came through the comm. Captain, the approaching vessels have increased speed. ETA now 2 hours. Rodriguez turned to leave. Prepare the specimen for transport. That's an order. After she left, Daniel approached Alex. What are you thinking? I'm thinking about what's right. Alex replied, watching Saren. About what I'd want if our positions were reversed. The neural translator lit up. Home planet coordinates. In my memory. Can find cure. Alex made his decision. Daniel, can you access the shuttle bay controls? Daniel's eyes widened. You can't be serious. Those ships aren't coming to attack. They're coming to retrieve Saren. If the parasites know he's free of their control, they'll do anything to stop him from spreading that freedom. You're talking about treason, Dawson warned. I'm talking about saving 2 species, Alex countered. Humans and Caraxi. The commander stared at them both, then at Saren. Something in his expression shifted. The military transport will dock in Bay 3. Security will be focused there. He handed Alex his access card. Research shuttle in Bay 1 has enough range to reach the nearest outpost. I was never here. As Dawson left, Alex turned to Daniel. You don't have to do this. Daniel smiled grimly. And missed the chance to save an entire civilization. What kind of scientist would I be? The station shuddered as the first Caraxi ship entered scanning range. Time was running out. The research shuttle hummed to life as Alex completed the launch sequence. Daniel worked frantically at the navigation console while Saren crouched in the modified cargo hold, his massive form barely contained by the space. Security just discovered Saren's missing, Daniel reported, his fingers flying across the controls. They're locking down all departure bays. Override code. Alex asked, reaching for Commander Dawson's access card. Already tried it. They've changed the system. A new voice came over the comm. Need some help, gentlemen. It was Kyle Bennett, the station's chief engineer. his usual cheerful tone noticeably strained. "Kyle," Alex asked in disbelief. Bay doors opening in 3, 2, 1. The massive doors slid apart, revealing the star-filled void beyond. Alex didn't hesitate, pushing the throttle forward. The shuttle shot out of the station just as alarms blared throughout the bay. "Thanks, Kyle," Alex said. "But why help us?" "My sister was on Proxima Colony when the Caraxi attacked," Kyle replied. "If there's even a chance you're right about these parasites, well, somebody deserves blame. And maybe it's not the Caraxi." The communication cut off as the UES Horizon appeared on their sensors, moving to intercept. "They're powering weapons," Daniel warned. Saren moved forward, placing one clawed limb on the navigation console. The translator flickered. "Asteroid field. 3 marks port. Hide there." Alex veered the shuttle hard to port, pushing its engines beyond safety parameters. The small vessel shuddered as it accelerated toward a dense cluster of asteroids. "They're firing morning shots," Daniel called out as energy beams flashed past their viewport. The shuttle plunged into the asteroid field, rocks ranging from car size to mountain size tumbling around them. The Horizon followed, but its larger size made maneuvering difficult. "I can't navigate this," Alex admitted as a small asteroid glanced off their shields. Saren made a series of clicking sounds and extended his limbs toward the controls. The translator displayed, "Let me." In a split-second decision, Alex surrendered the controls. Saren's multiple limbs moved with astonishing precision across the interface, guiding the shuttle through impossibly narrow gaps between asteroids. The creature's multifaceted eyes seemed to process the movement patterns in ways human brains couldn't comprehend. Behind them, the Horizon fired again, clipping their rear shields. "Shields at 40%, Daniel reported, gripping his seat as the shuttle spun around an asteroid the size of a small moon. "Any ideas where we're going?" Alex asked Saren. The translator showed, "Yes. Others like me. Hiding." The shuttle emerged from the asteroid field's far side, but instead of continuing into open space, Saren guided them toward what appeared to be a solid rock face. At the last moment, a narrow crevice became visible, barely wide enough for their vessel. "You've got to be kidding," Daniel muttered as Saren piloted them directly into the opening. The shuttle scraped through the tight passage, emerging into a hollowed-out chamber inside the asteroid. Lights flickered on, revealing a hidden outpost built into the rock. Several ships of unknown design were docked along the walls. As their shuttle settled onto a landing pad, figures emerged from the shadows, humans and other species, working alongside 3 Caraxi who moved with the same deliberate intelligence as Saren. "Welcome to Sanctuary," said a woman approaching the shuttle as they disembarked. Her dark hair was streaked with gray, and her eyes held the weary look of someone who had been fighting too long. "I'm Nora Chen. We've been expecting you." "How did you know we were coming?" Alex asked, stunned. Nora smiled grimly. "Because every resistance needs a catalyst, Dr. Morgan. And according to our predictions, you just became ours." Behind them, their shuttle's sensors detected the Horizon passing by the asteroid, continuing its search in the wrong direction. Nora led Alex, Daniel, and Saren through the hidden base carved within the asteroid. Humans worked alongside aliens from various systems, and 3 other Caraxi moved freely among them. "We've been studying the parasite for 7 years, Nora explained, guiding them into a laboratory filled with advanced equipment. "The Caraxi you see here managed to resist the parasitic control through a rare genetic mutation." "How many have this mutation?" Alex asked. "Perhaps 1 in 10,000, replied Nora. "Not enough to save their species naturally." Saren approached one of the other Caraxi, and they exchanged a series of clicks and hums. The translator picked up fragments. "Elder, survived. Hope now." A holographic display activated, showing microscopic organisms with spindly appendages that latched onto neural tissue. "The parasite bonds with the brain stem," Daniel observed, studying the display. It triggers aggression while suppressing higher cognitive functions. Exactly, said a man working nearby. I'm Ray Powell, former military scientist. We've tried everything to separate the parasite without killing the host. The connection is too integrated. Saren moved to the display and extended a limb. The translator showed, not separation, transformation. Alex looked at the creature. What do you mean? The parasite needs specific brain chemistry. Change chemistry, parasite dies. Nora nodded excitedly. We've considered that approach, but haven't found a compound that affects the parasite without harming the Caraxi. Because you don't understand our bodies, Saren's translator displayed. Need dual-phase compound. First protects brain tissue, second alters chemistry. For the next 2 days, Alex worked alongside the resistance scientists, using Saren's biological knowledge combined with human biochemistry. They barely slept, aware that both military vessels and parasite-controlled Caraxi were searching for them. On the 3rd day, Ray entered the lab, his face grim. We've received word from our contact at Helios 7. The military is claiming Dr. Morgan stole a biological weapon and intends to use it against human colonies. That's ridiculous, Daniel protested. Is it? Ray countered. What we're creating could end human dominance in this sector. Many would consider that a weapon. Alex looked at the vial of pearlescent liquid they had synthesized, enough to treat perhaps 100 Caraxi. This isn't about dominance. It's about freedom. That night, while the others slept, Alex found Saren studying star charts of the Caraxi home system. The military will never allow us to reach your homeworld, Alex said softly. Saren's translator displayed. Not need military permission. Need courage. Even if we succeed, even if we cure your people, humans might never trust the Caraxi. Trust grows from understanding. First step hardest. Alex smiled wearily. My people might call me a traitor. My people will call you savior. The next morning, Nora gathered everyone in the command center. Our sensors have detected a pattern shift in local patrol routes. They're closing in on us. We need to move. The cure works in lab conditions, Ray added, but we need to test it on an infected Caraxi. We need to get to the homeworld, Alex said firmly. Saren knows where the uninfected elders are hiding. With their help, we can distribute the cure. The homeworld is surrounded by parasite-controlled ships, Nora countered. It's suicide. Not with Caraxi helping, Saren's translator showed. No secret ways. Forgotten paths. Daniel stepped forward. I studied their ship designs. With modifications, our shuttle could appear as a returning scout vessel. The room fell silent, as everyone considered the implications. This wasn't just about saving a species. It was about fundamentally altering the balance of power in the galaxy. If the Caraxi returned to their former intelligence and technological prowess, humanity would no longer be the dominant force. If we do nothing, we're no better than the parasites, Alex said quietly. Controlling others for our benefit. Nora looked around the room, then at Saren. Her expression hardened with resolve. Prepare the shuttle. We leave in 6 hours. As the team dispersed to make preparations, Ray pulled Alex aside. You realize there's no going back from this, right? For any of us. Alex watched Saren conferring with the other free Caraxi, their movements filled with hope for the first time. Some journeys only go forward. The modified shuttle glided silently through the debris field surrounding the Caraxi homeworld. From the outside, it now resembled a Caraxi scout vessel, its hull plates reconfigured by the resistance engineers. Inside, Alex, Daniel, Nora, and Ray crowded the cramped cockpit while Saren guided their approach. Patrol vessel at Mark 7, Daniel whispered, though there was no way they could be heard across the vacuum of space. A sleek, predatory-looking ship passed within kilometers of them, its sensors sweeping the area. Everyone held their breath until it moved on. How are they not detecting us? Ray asked. Caraxi ships recognize others by specific energy patterns, Saren's translator displayed. showing correct pattern from outside. The homeworld came into view, a massive planet with twin rings and 3 moons. Once, according to Saren, it had been home to gleaming cities and advanced technology. Now its surface was scared with the aftermath of battles fought as the parasites took control. Receiving automated clearance, Daniel said as their communications array blinked green. "They think we're returning from patrol. Head for these coordinates," Saren indicated, pointing to a mountain range in the northern hemisphere, Elder Sanctuary beneath. They entered the atmosphere at a steep angle, clouds parting to reveal a landscape both beautiful and haunting. Massive structures of crystalline material stood partially ruined, while other areas showed signs of ongoing activity. Controlled Caraxi moving with militaristic precision. "Keep low to the terrain," Nora advised as they skimmed over a forest of towering purple vegetation. The shuttle rocked suddenly as energy weapons fired from below. Alarms blared throughout the cockpit. "We've been spotted," Daniel shouted, banking the shuttle hard to evade another blast. 3 attack vessels in pursuit, Ray reported, checking the sensors. "They're faster than us." Saren moved with surprising agility, taking control of the weapons system. The translator showed, "Must reach mountains." No choice. Energy beams lanced from their shuttle, striking the lead pursuer. The Caraxi vessel spiraled down, crashing into the forest below. "Try not to kill them," Alex pleaded. "They're victims too. Survival first, cure second," Saren's translator replied bluntly. They reached the mountain range with 2 ships still in pursuit. Saren guided them toward what appeared to be a solid rock face, then activated a sequence on the control panel. The mountainside shimmered and revealed a hidden entrance just wide enough for their shuttle. They slipped inside seconds before the entrance sealed behind them, the pursuing ships unable to follow. The shuttle settled into a vast underground cavern illuminated by bioluminescent plants. As they exited the craft, dozens of Caraxi emerged from tunnels around them. Older, their scales duller than Saren's, but with the same intelligence in their eyes. One particularly ancient Caraxi approached, its movements slow but deliberate. It exchanged a complex series of clicks and hums with Saren. Elder Vorith, Saren's translator displayed, last of original council, kept knowledge alive. The Elder examined the humans with multifaceted eyes that seemed to see beyond their physical forms. "You bring hope," the Elder's translator conveyed, "and great risk." Alex stepped forward, holding the container with their synthesized cure. "We believe this can free your people from the parasite's control." Elder Vorith extended a limb to touch the container. "Many have tried. All failed. We had help," Alex said, gesturing to Saren, "from someone who understands both sides." The cavern shook as explosions rocked the mountain above them. "They're bombing the mountain," Ray said grimly. "They must know we're here. The parasites fear what we bring," Elder Vorith's translator showed. "Test your cure quickly." They set up their equipment in an ancient laboratory the Elders had maintained. As Daniel prepared the delivery system, a captured infected Caraxi was brought in, restrained and thrashing violently. "This one freshly taken," Elder Vorith explained. "Infection not complete." Alex loaded the cure into an injector and approached the struggling creature. Its eyes showed nothing but murderous rage, so different from Saren's thoughtful gaze. "I hope this works," Alex whispered as he pressed the injector against the Caraxi's neural ridge. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The creature convulsed, then went completely still. For one terrible moment, Alex feared they had killed it. Then slowly the Caraxi's eyes cleared, the mindless fury replaced by confusion, then comprehension. "It works," Nora breathed. "It actually works." The ancient atmospheric processor loomed before them, a massive structure built into the highest peak of the mountain range. Once used to regulate the planet's climate, it now represented their only hope for distributing the cure planet-wide. Alex, Daniel, and Nora followed Saren and Elder Vorith through a series of tunnels that bypassed the surface patrols. Ray had stayed behind to protect their shuttle and coordinate with the other elders. The control center is still functional, Elder Voreth's translator displayed, but surrounded by infected guards. They emerged onto a narrow ledge overlooking the processor's main chamber. Below, at least 20 controlled Caraxi moved with mechanical precision, their once brilliant minds reduced to biological automatons. "We need to reach that control panel," Daniel whispered, pointing to a crystalline interface on the far side. "I can modify it to disperse the cure through the atmospheric systems." Saren studied the guard's movement patterns. "Distraction needed. I will provide." Before anyone could object, Saren leaped from their hiding spot, landing with startling grace on the chamber floor. The controlled Caraxi immediately turned toward the intruder, weapons charging. Saren began a complex series of movements and sounds that Alex realized was a traditional Caraxi ritual. The guards hesitated, their programming momentarily confused by this display of their forgotten culture. "Now," Elder Voreth urged, leading them along the ledge toward the control panel. As they worked their way around, Saren's distraction continued. Some of the guards had lowered their weapons, their heads tilting in confusion as buried memories struggled against parasitic control. They reached the panel just as the spell broke. A guard fired at Saren, who dodged with incredible speed. The chamber erupted into chaos. "Hurry," Alex urged as Daniel connected their cure container to the processor's distribution system. Nora stood guard, using a Caraxi weapon Elder Voreth had provided. Multiple hostiles approaching from the east tunnel. Daniel's fingers flew across the crystal interface. "The system's ancient. I need to bypass the security protocols." Elder Voreth stepped forward, placing all 6 limbs on the control panel. The crystals glowed in response to the Elder's touch. "My authorization still recognized. Proceed." Below, Saren fought with remarkable skill, disabling rather than killing the guards whenever possible. For each one subdued, however, 2 more entered the chamber. "Almost there," Daniel said, sweat beading on his forehead. "Atmospheric dispersal in 3, 2, 1. A deep rumbling filled the mountain as ancient machinery activated. Crystalline vents throughout the chamber began to glow with pearlescent light. The cure, vaporized and ready for distribution. "It's working," Alex exclaimed. A high-pitched alarm suddenly blared through the chamber. "Perimeter breach," Elder Voreth translated. "Military vessels, human and Caraxi both." On the chamber floor, Saren was now surrounded. Despite fighting valiantly, the odds were overwhelming. A controlled Caraxi twice Saren's size pinned him down. Without thinking, Alex slid down from the ledge and ran toward his friend. "Saren." The massive Caraxi turned toward Alex, its weapon charging. Time seemed to slow as Alex realized he might not survive to see the cure deployed. Then the vents activated fully, releasing a cloud of shimmering particles that filled the chamber. Every Caraxi, including Saren's attacker, froze in place. The one about to fire on Alex shuddered violently, then collapsed. Silence fell over the chamber. One by one, the controlled Caraxi began to stir, but differently now. Their movements became fluid, natural. The mindless aggression faded from their eyes, replaced by confusion, then dawning awareness. The massive processor continued its work, sending the cure into the planet's atmosphere. Throughout the world, Caraxi were awakening from a nightmare that had lasted generations. 3 days later, Alex stood on a balcony overlooking one of the Caraxi's ancient cities. Already, they had begun rebuilding, their natural intelligence and creativity returning. "The Galactic Council has called an emergency session," Nora said, joining him at the railing. "They're not happy with us." "They'll adapt," Alex replied. "They don't have much choice." Saren approached, now wearing the ceremonial markings of a clan leader. The translator displayed, "First human ambassador to free Caraxi accepted by all clans. History made today." Alex smiled. "I never planned to be an ambassador."